Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to Live Inspired, top of the garage of the airport here in St. Louis, Missouri style. My name is John O'Leary. I'm excited to be with you at 9 o'clock, like we do once a month with our Live Inspired Together community. Today, we're going to have a critically important conversation around mental health, around wellness, around suicide awareness and prevention, and ultimately a really phenomenal conversation around life. That's something I think we ought to be fighting for today, whether we are on top of a garage getting ready to board a plane or we're just waking up from bed getting ready to attack a Saturday morning. So regardless of where you are tuning in from today, I would love for you in the chat feature right now to tell me where you are listening in from. Where are you viewing right now this live broadcast? And secondly, the name of one individual who has encouraged you beautifully along your journey. So as airplanes are flying overhead and cars are parking nearby and people are honking at me to get off the phone, get off the communication, one more time, where are you tuning in from today? And the name of one individual who encouraged you powerfully right on time, maybe right when you needed that person to show up for you in your life. So while I'm waiting for some of you to type in where you're tuning in from and the name of one individual, I thought I would share with you why we're having this conversation today around suicide awareness and prevention in life. Yesterday, my university, the one I graduated from, its name is St. Louis University. Hello, Bill Alexander. I knew you'd be tuning in, brother. Hi, Jen Lilly, and everyone else who might be tuning in today. Yesterday, St. Louis University was closed. Why? They were closed because they have now already this year had 2 suicides on their campus. 2 young people have lost their life due to suicide. And so yesterday as a campus, we shut down to have a conversation around awareness, around a conversation around challenges we face, mental health. How do we handle stress, challenges, depression in our life? How do we lean into our brothers and sisters? How do we reach out for help? It was an important conversation, but it's one that we need to have not only on Fridays after the fact, but I think each day going forward as a community, both here at Live Inspired, but beyond. And so that's what today is going to be about. We're going to spend about 10 minutes today talking about some struggles that I've had. We're going to talk about some next right steps for us in our journey going forward. And I'll make sure at the very end that you have not only resources to lean into, but also a number should you or someone else ever need some assistance along the journey to reach out to. So that's going to be the pathway for Valentina and Lindsay and everyone else who's tuning in. We're so grateful that you're part of our community. The first word of it, live. Yeah, we're going to be inspired. We're going to make a difference. We're going to touch lives and we're going to live. We're going to live. When I was a 9-year-old boy, that's something I wasn't sure that I wanted to do. Many of you who follow us and me online know the story of John O'Leary getting burned, but very few of you who follow the story online know what happened the day of. Yeah, I know we're aware of the fire and we're aware of the explosion and we're aware of mom and dad's grace and their love. And I bet EMTs drove you to the hospital. That is all true. But between the explosion and that ride to the hospital, there was a 9-year-old boy who found himself outside of his mom and dad's house, naked and afraid. I had caused this profound explosion that not only changed my life, but altered the life of all of my family members. And it's snowing outside. It's January 17th, 1987. I'm 9 years old. I'm watching from the front yard our house burn. And the entire time watching the smoke and the flames leaping through the roof line and through the windows and through the doors, I'm thinking, I caused this. I caused this thing. This great negativity was caused by my actions. And it just broke me. As a child, it just broke me to think of what I did to my mom and dad's house. And what I've inflicted now into my siblings' lives and into their world. So I remember looking down and Live Inspired Together community. When I looked down, that's when I saw my hands and my body and the brokenness and the woundedness and the grotesque change of it all. I was no longer the little boy I was before. And this ache and this pain and this sadness was more than I could bear. And so I remember looking at my closest sibling and telling her that I don't want to live. I want out. I want to die. I want to die. And I'll also remember what this little one said back to me. Her name is Amy. She's probably tuning in, or she will be shortly. She pulls me close and she says to me some powerful words. She looks me right in the eyes and she says, John, shut up. What is wrong with you? Shut up. And then she added these words. They're beautiful. You may want to write them down today, and you may want to share them later on throughout the day. She said to me, John, have faith and fight. The best is yet to come. I'm going to say that again because as a 9-year-old boy, I needed that reminder as the house was burning in front of me and my life was completely altered and changed and broken below me. John, have faith and fight. The best is yet to come. And as important as it was for me to hear that back then, it was as important for me to be reminded of that during high school, when I struggled with friends, when I struggled not dating, when I struggled what kind of life might I live going forward, when I struggled in school, when I struggled fitting in. That reminder, John, listen, shut up, have faith and fight. The best is yet to come. I needed that reminder also in college when I struggled figuring out who I was. And when I began my first career and failed wonderfully at it, John, have faith and fight. The best is yet to come. And in a community that is walled up, and in the community that is struggling today, and in a community that, according to a Cigna review, 64% of us feel isolated. The pandemic was here long before COVID appeared. 64% of us feel isolated before the pandemic. Can you imagine what the total is today? In 2020, 1.2 million Americans attempted suicide. So the pandemic is upon us, and it's not just COVID. It's this sense of despair and hopelessness and struggle and isolation and wondering if we are worthy and wondering if we have the courage, the power, the ability to take the next right step forward in our lives. So I wanted to first let you all know, man, I've been there not only as a 9-year-old boy, but throughout my life. And faith has mattered to me. Network has mattered to me. Family has mattered to me. Moving forward together has helped me. Reaching out for help has been a profound guide for me. But in addition to my story today, we wanted to share 4 other stories. So I'm going to put a little screen up right now to give you some resources if you're looking to have a deeper, longer dive into this conversation, not only around mental health and wellness, but around suicide prevention awareness, and ultimately the decision to choose life, And you see some of the names. I won't go through all of them right now, but the gentleman on the bottom left, his name is Kevin Hines. Kevin Hines is smiling in that picture, and he's standing in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a peculiar picture, isn't it? Why would this guy be in front of that bridge? Because Kevin Hines, at a difficult moment in his life, took a bus away from his house, away from his challenges, away from his struggles and despair, to the Golden Gate Bridge. He walked to the very top of that bridge, looked around for anybody to be there to support him, to encourage him, and there was no one. So then he climbed to the top of the bridge and he leapt. He jumped off. And Kevin Hines told me after the fact that as soon as he leapt, the very first thought he had was, what have I done? What have I done? And it was too late. He was in free fall. Kevin Hines' life is nothing short of a miracle. He ended up landing, breaking innumerable bones, concussed, was pulled out of the water by a fisherman who happened to be nearby, raised back from the water, eventually back into life. And now he travels around schools and communities and a world that is starved for it, preaching life, reminding individuals that they are not alone, that their life has value, and that the best of their journey remains ahead of them. Kevin Hines has a beautiful, difficult, but important story to hear. And so if you're looking for a story in life, you may want to check out that one. Kevin Hines, episode 164. And then the last one I'll share with you today is Dennis Gillen. Dennis Gillen is my friend. He's my brother. I love him. Dennis Gillen lost 2 brothers to suicide, and he himself struggled with that suicide ideation for a long time. He now reaches out for help. He now seeks counseling. He now leans into prayer. He now reaches and is honest with his wife. He now has stopped self-medicating. He chose alcohol for a long time. He no longer has self-medicated. He is now actively reaching out for help in his life and going around the community, reminding others that there's a way forward in their life. But it begins by talking about it. It begins by talking about it. So today we talk about struggles. Today we talk about mental health. Today we talk about the difficulties that we all have in our life. And I wanted you to be reminded today that you are not alone, that your life has value, and that the best of your days remain in front of you. So there's a number rolling across on the bottom of the screen. That may not be for you today, but it may be for a friend of yours. It may be for a roommate, maybe for a spouse. It may be for an aging parent. It may be for a child that you're raising or a neighbor's child. According to a study that I ran into just yesterday, 22% of college-age kids have created 22% of kids have created a plan for suicide in their own life. 22% of kids have a plan. It's time for us to attack that plan. It's time for us to pull them a little bit closer and to remind them, what is wrong with you? Have faith and fight. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. So Lindsay and Victor and Jen Lilly and Glenadine, Duncan, praise God for people and places who step forward in our lives. Amen. We can't do this thing by ourselves. I can't travel by myself. I can't raise kids by myself. I can't do a thing by myself. But together we can get this thing done well. We can get this thing done collectively. And so let's have a conversation. Let's keep the conversation going. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And so with a couple days remaining in the month, let's make sure that we fight this worthy fight together. I want to thank you for being part of our Live Inspired community. And I want to let you know that we're having later next week on Thursday, a champion for life join us on our podcast. His name is Max Liccato. Max has been through unbelievable struggles in his life. Many things that some of you may know of, many that you may not. I was telling my podcast producer, Amy Loyette, she's tuning in with us today, about some of the challenges that Max has been through, and she and I were overwhelmed going through this list. So Max is an author. He's a speaker. He's a pastor. He's a father. He's a whole lot of job titles. But I think on Thursday, for those of you who choose to join us live, you're going to recognize that he's not on our podcast to talk about himself and his story and his struggles and his reason for hope. He's here on Thursday to talk about your struggles and your story and your challenges and ultimately your and our reason for hope. It's going to be a phenomenal conversation. It's going to be live across our network. You won't want to miss this one. So join us next Thursday live for a really cool conversation with my friend and next yours, his name, Max Liccato. Join us 11 o'clock Central on Thursday, September 30. So my friends, you know by now we join you once a month at the airport, sometimes at the office, sometimes from hotel ballrooms, but always joining you from where I am to meet you where you are, to talk about your story and your opportunities in your life, to remind you that you are worthy. You are not alone. The foundation is firm. That's right, Jen Lilly. And the best is yet to come. So for this time and until next time, my name is John O'Leary. The plane's engine is warming up. I got to go. But this is your day. Choose life. Lean into those around you and realize that the best is yet to come. God bless you guys. Have a great day.